Hey, 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 it's Julie and it is book launch day. I am so excited to be here. We've got such a jam-packed day. So if you are watching live, I know it's early, it's 8:43, not due to start till 8:45, but I got excited, I couldn't wait. I am so excited by all of the brilliant business owners that I've got on our agenda today. I'm interviewing 11 different small business owners who have a thing or two to say about tribes and about community. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the book, but actually it's going to be more than that. We're going to be having a lovely, juicy conversation about community and lessons from 2020 and how to become unstoppable in 2021. So you know what this is about, guys. It's all about the engagement. So I would love for you to say good morning. And you know the way that this stuff goes down, right? The more you engage, the more people on my feed see this stuff. Like, it's not rocket science. And this is what I always talk to my clients about. We have to train people to engage in our stuff. Yes, it's got to be interesting to start with, but we have to ask for what we want, right? You don't what's that saying? You don't get if you don't ask, or you don't know if you don't ask. Anyway, so hi Vic, I am so excited. So Vicky is going to be our first interviewee. These are going to stop and start throughout the day, so that they're in nice little containers of interviews, so you don't have to watch the whole stream. You can just pick and choose the ones that you want. Good morning, Juanita. Oh, I'm so excited. Book arrived yesterday, really enjoying it. Do you know what? I've been blown away by the reviews. I've got 11 reviews over on Amazon, and one of them made me cry yesterday, like serious, like welling up kind of crying, because I don't know, writing a book is a massive undertaking, not just in terms of the commitment it takes to sit down and write the bloody thing, but in terms of opening yourself up for critique, opening yourself up for judgment. Now, I don't know how many of you know the story, but I took myself off to Greece. Originally it was going to be for 3 weeks. It ended up being 8 weeks, not because the book took any longer, but because I needed a break. And it was a really just glorious, gorgeous experience to be able to take that amount of time to really kind of hone into the kind of book that I wanted to write. This book is book number 9. I can't believe it. Book number 9. And the irony is, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a writer. And I met my nan's brother, my Uncle Les, and I met him at a wedding, and he was an author. Well, he was a journalist, but he was also an author, and his wife was an author as well. And I just thought they were the most interesting people I'd ever met in my life. And I just decided in that moment I wanted to be a writer. And I think it's because he had so many glorious stories, and he traveled, he'd met the Queen, he'd done all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I want that. And for many years, I wouldn't give myself permission to use that title, you know. And I always used to say, Uncle Les, because we've become pen pals. And I used to say, Uncle Les, I want to be a writer. Will you help me? And he wouldn't ever help me. He'd never give me a foot up. But we were pen pals for years. And he would always say the same thing. He'd say, Julie, if you want to be a writer, you just have to write. And he was right. He really was. And I think the process of writing my blog gave me the confidence to share my voice. And then over time, I wrote books, mainly in the running world. You can see a couple of them behind me. A couple of years ago, I wrote my first book, second book, that was more about kind of life coaching. And this is my first ever business book. And that comes with stress, right? It comes with a little bit of stress. Like, who am I to write a business book? Right? Who am I? So there may be people watching this thinking, I actually don't know who you are, Julie. So let me do a bit of an introduction. My name is Julie Creffield. I'm a community engagement strategist and business mentor. I've been an entrepreneur for more than 20 years. I have a background in community engagement. I have worked with massive organizations. I worked on the London 2012 Olympics. I've worked with some of the most diverse communities you could ever think of. I would say my specialism is in hard to reach groups. And if you think about it, clients online sometimes feel like they're hard to reach. So I am perfect to be able to bridge that gap between offline and online, because ultimately we are people. And I say it in my poem. I have a viral video that uses a poem, and it says, people are people no matter on which platform they stand. And so part of writing this book was about busting the myths that online is this weird place where it's really hard to get traction, and that you need to know all of the hacks and all of the tricks and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to being able to bust some of those myths with the people that I've been working with this year. So I've got lots of my clients who I'm going to be interviewing to talk about kind of how they've built their tribe and what really, really matters. So I will be back at 9 o'clock to interview the wonderful, glorious Vic O'Farrell. We are going to be talking about how to build your tribe like a queen, but we're also going to be talking about her maverick tendencies. So in this book, there is 12 archetypes, and those archetypes help you to understand who you are as a leader, and we are never just one thing. But before I do that, because I'm going to pop off for a second, I want to read you a poem from the book, okay? And I wanted this book to not be a stuffy business book. I wanted it to have my personality, and I wanted it to question the status quo, and for it not to be like, it's a serious book, like you can definitely learn stuff from it, but I also wanted it to be a bit like me, like a little bit rough around the edges, loads of kind of fun, engaging things to get involved in the book. There's lots of practical ideas, and I wanted it to be in the language that I use. All right, so I'm going to share probably my favorite poem from the book. And I can remember writing this on like the second day that I got to Greece, when I was completely overwhelmed with what this book would be. Right, are we ready? It's entitled Shit Books. Okay. There's nothing quite so annoying as a proper shit book. The intro and half the first chapter were all it really took. Cliches, other people's quotes, and nothing all that new. Be original, people, and show me something true. The title, the blurb, it all looks so promising, but now I just feel cheated for all the good books I could be reading. It's all a bit weird, especially if you know the author. What do you think, they ask, and you know you alter. Say well done and give them that 4-star review. But quite honestly, love, I couldn't bring myself to start chapter 2. Life's too short to be reading books that don't inspire, putting up with samey books that quite frankly are quite dire. I want awe-inspiring books that disrupt or provoke. Instead, we buy shit books from folks online and the whole system is broke. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. I mean, think of all the trees, all the paper, all that wood. And now this book is in your hand, and I guess it had better be on point. I don't want it clogging up your bookcase with all the other culprits that disappoint. Look, guys, I might be a little bit rubbish at this serious poetry stuff, trying to make myself sound like some kind of literary buff. I'm going to put it out there and be brave just for a bit. The poems might be a bit rough around the edges, but at least the book won't be shit. I love that poem. I know we shouldn't big ourselves up, but I had so much fun writing it. And whenever I share it, I've shared it a couple of times publicly now, and people really, really get it. And the thing is, it's not really me having a dig at people. You know, writing a book is a brave thing to do. And, you know, the idea of a shit book, it's relative anyway. What one person raves about, another person can't stand. So this is all about authenticity and doing things your way. So I am going to jump off for a couple of moments. I'm hoping many of you will come back and join the first session of today, which is all about building your tribe like a queen with the one and only Vicky O'Farrell. Thanks for joining me live, guys. And if you haven't bought the book, go and do it now. Like, please, you know, that's what a whole book launch is about. I really want to see this book in your hands. And for those eagle eyes amongst you, look at this down here. There. God, my bad nails. I have developed a quiz where you can go in and find out what leadership style you are. All right. So are you more nurturer? Are you more disruptive? Do you have, you know, bits of vulnerability? I'm really proud of the quiz. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes. It's fun. It asks you all the things that you love and hate about the online world. And my intention is to get 100 people through that quiz today. All right. I will see some of you on some of the calls this evening, this afternoon, this morning. We're going right the way through till 9 o'clock tonight. So wish me luck, invite some people, and I will see you at some point today. Mwah. Ciao.